Hey everyone, it's Scott from SertMedia.com. Today I just want to give a brief overview, kind of like I did with Genesis 3.1. I want to talk about what's coming in Genesis 3.2, currently in beta, should be coming out soon, and just my thoughts of what the new direction is for Genesis. So Genesis, up until very recently, was fairly stagnant, really until it was acquired by WordPress engine, where updates were coming, but they just fell really far behind the competition. So it was almost relegated to be a rather blank slate type framework. But the last couple updates, including Genesis 3.1, which I did a separate video on, went into the features added there. And this new update, Genesis 3.2, is just expanding on it. So Genesis 3.2 is expected to add additional items from the Genesis Simple Edits plugin. It will allow you to edit the entry meta. So you'll be able to enter new items. You can also change the content that shows. You can post categories, post tags, pretty much the things that you could do in Genesis Simple Edits, but now it'll work in the customizer and it'll be native into the Genesis core. The Open Graph tag support is finally coming. We've done well to stick over the years to the SEO basics in Genesis. For more complicated SEO setups, we recommend using Yoast SEO. After monitoring Open Graph for a couple of years, I mean, Open Graph has been around forever now, and the fact that it's now getting added is kind of just like a backlog item, in my opinion. The fact that they're now adding it shows they were really on a backlog of what needed to be done, so now they're just going through and adding features that should have been in there for a while now. I'm going to expect in a following update, maybe Genesis 3.3, they're going to add Twitter card data, which they absolutely should. That's a basic functionality that every theme pretty much nowadays comes with out of the box. If not, you can use Yoast SEO. So this is a good thing to add, but it should have already been in there a long time ago. Disable the footer widgets on a per entry basis. This is a useful feature, and I like it because footer widgets in Genesis are useful, but depending on how you're making use of them, they don't always fit for the specific type of content. If you're building out a page using a block editor and you want to just simply disable the footer widgets like they have in the Genesis sample, where it's basically just obligatory self-promotion stuff for different services, they don't need to be enabled. But a different page, like a contact us page, very well might want to have those widgets. And instead of creating a separate page template, the ability to just flip it on or off through the sidebar in Gutenberg is a great addition. I like this addition very much. Native lazy loading for images in Chrome. It's a super simple feature, and frankly, WordPress core should probably add the functionality once it starts to prove itself. But adding theme support for lazy load images should work. But the one thing that everybody needs to be alert of, if you already have a lazy load plugin, or any kind of lazy load functionality built into a plugin or a child theme, you're not going to want to have this functionality enabled, or it could cause incompatibilities depending on the script and implementation. So this is a good feature. And it's a little strange. It looks like Firefox, as they mentioned, will possibly add it. Let's see on the Mozilla page. Let's see, the last update, it was 5 hours ago. The HTML PR is in good shape, yet I'm not sure there's adequate test coverage. Essentially, it's a good feature that they've added because it should have been added. However, it's kind of gimmicky. Some of the things that Genesis should really focus on are some additional items to help build the site. Part of the thing that everybody does when they come up with the WordPress site now is they add Yoast SEO or some SEO plugin. That's the first plugin they've naturally come to install. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, I don't need an SEO plugin. It's just extra bloat. But you're going to find the vast majority of users do simply install some SEO plugin. So while Genesis expanding its SEO settings and its Open Graph settings is great, I feel like that it should be focusing more on the content and the actual development side of Genesis a little bit more. For reasons that are native to Genesis itself, it's quite hard to build any type of site off of Genesis. Genesis makes great business templates, and I highly like them. I like the design. I like the way that they're built, and they're very easy to build off of. The one thing that Genesis falls behind with, in my opinion, is editorial content. The only real Genesis theme for editorial type content is Genesis Magazine Pro, and that for the lack of a better word sucks. Using Genesis for any type of large scale editorial process requires you going way outside of really what Genesis is serving for. So if they can come up with an update, maybe a new child theme or some sort of functionality that just makes building a magazine styled site, that would be very helpful, because Genesis is hands down going to be the most efficient and light and simple and elegant design for a business theme, but using it for magazines is so painfully, at times, fairly stupid to work with, because there's not a good foundation for building one. And Magazine Pro honestly looks like it came out of like 2013 with its design on a simple Tumblr or Blogger blog. So if Genesis could look at expanding some features that would be more useful for news publishers, that would be very good. Personally, I can't use Genesis on virtually any of the news publication sites that I have or I've worked on, but for small business sites, it's very solid. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Genesis 3.2, shaping up to be a good release. Looks like it's building on the work of Genesis 3.1. All that I can really ask is that in Genesis 3.3, they really start looking at branching out from the small business aspect of their theme and start using it to build editorial style themes as well, because WordPress is honestly flooded with business themes, but very little in the magazine news space that just aren't bloated. Most of the top themes on Theme Forest are going to be your small business themes. Then you're going to get your blog/news themes where people go into topics. And you're either going to get the ones that are so bloated that they're just a performance detriment and they're just not well designed, or you're just not going to be happy with them. Anyways, those are my thoughts. If you have any questions, you can feel free to comment in the comment section below. And if not, thank you very much for watching.